Have you ever heard the story of the Little Mermaid as Disney told it? But what you might not know is that the original tale dives deep into a sea of mysteries and intense emotions, far beyond the enchanted version we know. Today, we're exploring this dark and twist-filled story that Hans Christian Andersen crafted. And the ending, get ready for a surprise that will leave you breathless. Let's embark on this fascinating journey together. You're here at Horse Animated, and I'm thrilled to have you on the channel. In the underwater kingdom, mermaids lived surrounded by a landscape of beauty that blended with the colors of the sea. Among them stood out the youngest, known for her boundless curiosity and unmatched beauty. She yearned to explore the human world, captivated by stories of mermaids who had interacted with them. It's worth noting that in this tale, when mermaids met their end, they transformed into sea foam, dissipating forever. This fate can be seen as a poetic expression of their existence, returning to the ocean they loved so dearly and fading into the vastness of the waters. As these elements weave a dark and emotionally profound narrative, significantly diverging from the more optimistic and joyful version popularized by Disney. At 15, a significant milestone for mermaids, they were granted rare permission to surface and gaze upon human cities. Driven by an insatiable curiosity for the world above, the young mermaid eagerly swam to the surface, emerging in the tumultuous waters of a stormy sea. It was during this storm that she spotted a human ship in distress, tossed about by threatening waves. Inside, a young prince fought desperately against the impending fate. Without hesitation, the mermaid sprang into action, swimming vigorously to the prince and clutching him tightly, guiding him with all her strength towards the safety of the nearest beach. As the prince awoke to the gentle touch of the mermaid, and upon opening his eyes found himself face to face with the wild beauty of his unexpected savior. The mermaid, fueled by the courage that brought her there and touched by the prince's surprised gaze, experienced a mix of emotions she had never felt in the depths of the sea before. However, the brief moment of rescue quickly came to an end. Aware of her duty to return to the underwater kingdom before her absence was noticed, the mermaid's mind swirled with tumultuous thoughts. As she couldn't stop reflecting on the prince, his unfamiliar world, and the possibilities of a life she had never imagined could exist. In the days that followed, the mermaid was consumed by relentless thoughts of the human prince. She spent hours at the water's edge, gazing at the world above the waves, imagining what it would be like to live among humans, walk on solid ground, and breathe the air that seemed so distant and mysterious. As the mermaid's restlessness grew with each passing day, until finally, she could resist the burning desire to discover what the future held no longer. In an act of courage and desperation, she sought out the Sea Witch, a feared and mysterious figure in the darkest corners of the underwater kingdom. As known for her sinister deals and steep prices, the witch agreed to grant the mermaid's request, transforming her graceful tail into human legs. But as with all deals with the Sea Witch, this one came at a steep cost. The mermaid learned she would have to pay a high price for the gift of transformation, her melodious voice. The witch, cunning and cruel, demanded this sacrifice to balance the powers granted. Driven by a mix of despair and determination, the mermaid accepted the pact without fully understanding its implications. The intense pain of transformation turned each step with her new legs into excruciating agony, as if she were treading on sharp blades. Despite the suffering, the prince found the mermaid on the beach and, captivated by her beauty and vulnerability, took her to his palace. The mermaid, now unable to speak or sing, needed to find another way to win the prince's heart and fulfill her longing to belong in the human world. As the grand castle, the mermaid faced an unprecedented challenge, communicating with the prince without the gift of her melodious voice. Limited to gestures and expressions, she tried to earn his trust and affection while hiding her true self as a sea maiden. The prince, kind and hospitable, welcomed her as a close friend, oblivious to her secret identity as his stormy sea savior. As the days passed, the mermaid's time in human form slipped through her fingers like sand. She knew she had only until sunrise the next day to win the prince's love and convince him to marry her. Failure in this desperate endeavor would mean facing the cruel sentence of turning into sea foam, losing everything she had gained in the human world. The mermaid poured all her efforts into winning the prince's heart, becoming his constant confidant and actively participating in his daily activities. However, the prince had already pledged his heart to another, a princess from a neighboring kingdom whose charm and social standing were irresistible to him. Desperate and heartbroken, the mermaid faced a painful crossroads. It was then that she encountered her sisters, who had made a dark pact with the Sea Witch in search of an escape from their own trials. They sacrificed their long hair in exchange for a magical knife, capable of altering the course of things. As the sisters revealed to the mermaid that if she killed the prince with this knife and let his blood fall upon her feet, she could return to being a mermaid. and her life would be spared from the clutches of time. Consumed by grief and despair, the mermaid faced the terrible choice between her own survival and the morality of her actions. However, the mermaid chose ultimate sacrifice. At dawn, she threw herself into the deep waters of the sea, feeling her body slowly transform into ephemeral sea foam. Her death was the tribute paid for unrequited love and the decision to protect those she loved. Thus, the mermaid story resonates as a tragic parable of unrequited love and personal sacrifice, where human desires meet their ultimate destiny in the unfathomable depths of the ocean. Interpretations and analyses suggest that Hans Christian Andersen's tale, The Little Mermaid, may have been inspired by the author's personal experiences, particularly his own unrequited feelings for those he loved. Andersen lived a life marked by intense emotions and complicated relationships, especially in a time when marriages between individuals of the same sex were inconceivable. While there is no definitive confirmation that The Little Mermaid was directly inspired by a specific experience of Andersen's unrequited love, many scholars and literary critics suggest that elements of the story, such as personal sacrifice and unfulfilled desire, may have been influenced by his own emotions and romantic experiences. Andersen, often confronted with the reality of seeing his affections directed elsewhere, faced deep emotional challenges. The impossibility of acting on these intense feelings may have resonated in the creation of the mermaid's narrative, who renounces her own existence in favor of a love that cannot be reciprocated as she wishes. Thus, The Little Mermaid not only captivates with its beauty and sadness, but also echoes the complexities of romantic life and the limits imposed by the social conventions of Andersen's time. Hans Christian Andersen's original story of The Little Mermaid is not frightening, but deeply moving. It addresses themes of unrequited love, personal sacrifice, and the difficulties of desiring something that cannot be attained. This fairy tale delves into the complex and profound emotions that accompany our deepest desires, often resulting in painful consequences. I hope you've been touched by this journey through the darker side of The Little Mermaid. As we've seen, Hans Christian Andersen's original tale differs significantly from Disney's version, where Ariel had an extremely happy ending alongside Prince Eric and even gained a daughter named Melody. As the twists and intense emotions of this tale reveal a deeper and more complex aspect of fairy tales, challenging expectations and exploring the depths of the human soul. To wrap up the video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content on fairy tales, intriguing theories, and deep analyses like this one. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more, don't forget to support the channel by liking and subscribing so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Thank you for your support, and until the next journey through the world of fairy tales.